Did y'all? Okay. I'm trying to figure out how I feel about it. I guess what I thought would happen happened, but you know, that whole Epstein list came out. I know, right? And it was pretty underwhelming. Like, they were like, dropping the list January 2nd. And then January 2nd came and they were like, sorry, January 3rd. And then they dropped the list and everyone was like, just mouth-watering on Twitter, everywhere. Everybody was like, Jesus, list, it's going to shake up the world. You know, and everything's going to change after this list comes out. And then the list came out, and a couple people we thought were on it. And then when I saw the rest of the list, I was like, oh, that's right. I don't know any rich people. That's my bad. I don't really move in the circles for this to be a scandal. Because any name on the list that wasn't already a celebrity, I have no idea who that is. It could be the head of a bank. I don't know. Whoops. It's very interesting. It is also, I guess, a bit weird because if you on that list, if your name just came out, it's kind of weird because you really can't die now. Like, you really got to hold it together for quite a while, or else if you die, they're gonna be like, he was a bigger part of it. It's like, oh, jeez. No, it's a weird list. It's a weird gathering of people. You know what I mean? And not everybody went to the island. I'm not taking up for anybody because, once again, I don't know them. But some of them, a part of me feels a little bit bad for because they took a trip when the jet was going in the other direction. You know what I mean? Like, the jet goes to the island, but then the jet might go from New York to Philadelphia real quick. And then David Copperfield's like, I ain't got shit to do with this. What the fuck? Motherfuckers asked me to come over and do some tricks. And then they dropped me off in Indianapolis. I had a show. No. It is weird, though. I think the thing that scares me most about the list and our response to it was that we thought the list would have everyone that we know on it. But what were we gonna do about it? Do you know what I mean? Like, think about that really. Like, we thought all of these, like, celebrities would be on the list. It's like, all right, what were we gonna... Like, was the plan to... Like, I don't know, unless we were gonna kill him, what does it really matter? Do you know what I mean? We're just gonna be like, oh, you... You know what I mean? Really think about it. It's like if you know, whoever. Let's say Aaron Rodgers was on the list. We're gonna not let him play? I don't know. This feels like we didn't really have a plan there. We just wanted to see it, kind of like the burn book for Mean Girls. And then we were gonna just go about our day. Because it says a lot that we expected powerful people to be on the list. It kind of shows that we have no faith in them to begin with, right? So then we might as well just treat them like they were on the list and get rid of them. Like, it just feels like But Jeremy, I don't know why we needed a little bit more evidence that Lindsey Graham was shitty or something. I mean, like... I'm trying to be like a more like chill person. I think I get carried away sometimes. Like, I'll overthink things and it gets me into this. I don't want to be a combative person, and I'm not combative outwardly, but in my head I'll be like, what does that mean? Or I will overanalyze the situation to a point where I'm having a bad time, right? Like, it can't even be called a restaurant. I went to a fast food, like, chicken spot, and I ordered, and they gave me my food. I truly cannot remember if I asked for napkins or not. But the cashier, he gave me too many napkins. All right? He gave me a concerning, offensive amount of napkins. He gave me so many he gave me napkins, it was making a statement in my head as he was going, because he put, one napkin is not enough. If you get a meal and they give you one napkin, they're like, fend for yourself, right? 2 napkins might be enough. Maybe you're gonna wipe your hands, you're gonna wipe something down, whatever. 3 napkins is a perfect amount. 4 or 5 starts to be excessive. He gave me a clutch of napkin. He gave me what I can only describe as an unhoused amount of napkins. He gave me napkins like it was gonna be my blanket and my pillow tonight. He gave me, because he used the full width of his big ass hand to grab all these napkins and stuff them in the bag. There were so many napkins in the bag that if the bag had flipped, my food would have been safe, right? It was such a deeply offensive amount of napkin, because it just felt like he was saying, you can't take care of yourself. It felt like he was saying, you gonna spill a lot. I can tell just by how you're standing that you spill. And I was talking to a friend about it. My friend was like, well, maybe, just maybe he recognized you and he was trying to give you the hookup. And I was like, okay, even if I'm trying to extend enough grace to not be offended and to think that my man likes my comedy, and so he's like, look, I don't have much, but what I got is these napkins. All right, so if you need anything, napkin-wise, I got you, all right? Napkin-wise, I stay ready, okay? I was like, nah, because he didn't, this is how I know he wasn't like a fan or something. He looked me dead in my eyes when he gave me all those napkins and he didn't smile. That was the most offensive. It's probably one of the most, it was a full middle finger using all his fingers. It was, the way that he was like, all right. Deeply distressed. Okay, did y'all, by any chance, see the dude who jumped the judge? Okay, this is so great. Okay, look, if you have not seen it, if you haven't seen it, it's very quick. If you have not seen it, I'll try my best to bring you up to. Okay, so basically, I didn't know everything was happening. I had to read about it after I saw it. But in the video, you see a judge and what I think is a stenographer. And I knew something bad was going to happen because when the video starts, the stenographer in the corner already got his mouth open, right? And so the stenographer is looking ahead and going, and that is because, I don't know how big this man is, but there is a man already in the air flying towards the judge, okay? Now, I don't know, because of the angle, I don't know if he got a running start and started flying, or if he just flew from the defendant's stand. Because you know that table they got the defendants at, right? From the angle, it just looks like he jumped from there over, and then no judge's bench is eye level, all right, ever, okay? Which means he didn't just jump across and clear that space. He went up, and it is so sad that our first black superhero is this guy. Okay. So then he jumps over, he full Soulja Boy over the judge's bench, lands on her. Now, I knew he was going to get her when I saw him in the air because she was getting out of the way too slow. Because I think even even, I think in her mind, even she was like, he gonna bust his head on this bench trying to jump up here to get me. Because she was kind of cold with it, where she wasn't freaked out even though he was flying her, which makes me feel like this must have happened before. And most people don't make it. Like, most people don't clear it and then they bang their head on the bench, you know what I mean? Because for the bailiff to not, the bailiff is nowhere to be found. He clearly jumped over the bailiff, right? Because the bailiff was probably like the stenographer was over here like, God dang. And so then he jumps up and lands on her. She goes down. They're both like under the bench for a second. Then the bailiff gets over there, and then I guess the stenographer, I don't know what this person's position was, but he was in a suit and he seemed very scared. They both start trying to fight this dude. So now this dude is whooping everybody's ass. Like, it's actually quite, like, in my mind, I was like, is he on drugs right now? Because how do you fight from the ground 3 people as you get up? You don't even see that in the UFC, right? And you'll never believe, okay, so she was denying his probation and she was about to sentence him, which is when he jumped over the bench and attacked her, right? And she was sentencing him. His case was battery with severe bodily harm. He did battery at the battery case. And I don't know what the other situation was. I have no idea. But she was about to sentence him. And I don't know how much time he was about to get. But it sounded like she was about to be like, I'm going to have to give you 8 years. And then this man was like, I'd like life, please. I'm sort of done with this outside world. Let me go ahead and stay forever. It's genuinely insane. I think that's the first person we've ever seen as a collective society that is going to get 10 million years. So, like, that's absolutely astounding. Yeah, I mean, if anything, I'm interested in what's going to happen next. I don't know if they'll let cameras in for it, but the judge said, the judge was like, I want to see him on Monday. This Monday, she's like, I want to see him on Monday by any means necessary. She used a full Malcolm X line. Because she was like, I didn't get to finish my sentence. Oof.
I mean, this tour is special to me, and it's the first time I'm able to really do what I want to do and move how I want to move, as far as all the parts that go into it. I can't wait to see you there.
You ready for your headliner? You've seen him on The Daily Show all over YouTube. Put your hands together for Josh Johnson!
I don't know about y'all, but I just paid my taxes and they got me. Oh, they got me good. Oh, they got me real good. I was wondering if they would get me. And then they were like, no, we didn't forget about you. We think you're special. We would never forget. And I know they charged me extra. They got me charged me extra because they know I won't survive jail. So they're like, he gonna pay it. Just write a number. He'll make it happen. It's been great traveling this week. I've been able to go to Milwaukee, Madison, now Minneapolis and everything. When I was in Madison, there was something sort of curious that was happening. You know, I like being in Minneapolis because y'all smile an appropriate amount. You smile when something good is happening. You know what I mean? When I was in Madison, there were so many errant smiles. There were people just looking forward like, huh. I've never been in a city. I told them this too. I told them this to their face. I was like, y'all all walk like you walk into the light. Like, this is crazy. I try to be a jolly person, but this is insane. Nah, man, what? It was wild. And when I was there, I like when people are happy. I hope to make people happy, but when people got a little bit too much of it going on, I do have to get to the bottom of it. You know? And so I did do a couple things. It's something I like to do in any city when I see too many people smiling when I get there. I immediately go to that city's Yelp. Because I'm like, there are problems here somewhere. We just have to find where they are. You know what I mean? Not everything is a 5-star experience. Not everybody gonna give a 5-star. And it didn't take long. I found a 1-star. I won't name the establishment, but the review simply said, their old fashions taste like barbecue sauce. Let's be clear about something. You have to have such a fundamental understanding of how old fashions and barbecue sauce taste to take a sip of alcohol and go, nah, that's Sweet Baby Ray's. I know Sweet Baby Ray's. When I taste it, you not slick just because you thinned it up a little bit. Oh, it's tough too, because when you're dealing with some of this happiness in different places, you wonder, did y'all get taxed? Do you know what I mean? They must have skipped over y'all if y'all so happy all the time. And I think sometimes taxes feel extra difficult because when you pay them, you feel like you're paying them for everything that happens next, not to pay for the life you were living up until that point. Does that make sense? Like it's like when you pay rent, you're paying rent to keep living there. But when it comes to taxes, you're mostly paying for everything that already happened, that you already enjoyed or didn't enjoy, depending on the city. And I think that if you got something back with your taxes, let's say you pay your taxes, they give you that tax return and everything. You can read all the numbers, why they say you owe what you owe or why you got back what you got back. And then they list next to that what they paid for with it. That might make people feel a little better, you know? Because we don't know where our tax dollars go exactly. So then something happens and you feel like you're paying for that and you're like, this isn't what I paid for. And somebody should tell you, oh no, this isn't on you. That's not, that wasn't your money. You know what I mean? Like paying taxes as part of a country feels like when the bill comes and you gotta split it, but you only got wings. Like, hey, I got 6 wings. All right, there are 6 sets of bones in my basket. I didn't take any errant bites or anything. And some of y'all are alcoholics. I am not prepared to split this bill with you. You have your barbecue sauce, old fashions. You have your... Not down for this. Because everybody's having some money troubles right about now. I mean, from all different ways. People are getting squeezed in lots of different directions, you know? Like we already know, tariffs are almost old news now. But the fallout isn't. The fallout is fresh. The Dow has only dropped by 1,000 points 11 times in history. And 4 of them were in like the last 2 months. Like this is very bad. If this were a roller coaster, this would be the part of the ride where your neck breaks. Like it's just, Engineers don't build this way. This is not safe. And you see it through the tariffs. I've talked about it before, but those people on the money channels, they're still a bit nervous. They're still freaking out, They still come on every day. One of my favorite things about watching them now is they talk to us like we're the news. They're there doing the news, but they looking right in the camera like, I don't... What y'all think? Oh, it's bad. Like just this week, you had people losing money in all sorts of ways. I mean, Christie Noem. Christie Noem was at a restaurant, got her bag stolen, right? And I don't know. It is wild, okay, because then you have to... Okay, I'm trying to figure out how to put this. Okay, so then when you report your bag as stolen, right, and you got to list the contents of your bag, her bag had her driver's license in it, had her passport in it. She had $3,000 in cash in her bag. $3,000 in American dollars. $3,000 in cash. What you doing, Christie? That's $3,000. North American, South of Canada dollars. She had $3,000. That would make sense if this was like the 90s. It's the 90s. You got it like that. You got 3,000 on you. Okay, you might see a food truck, want to treat the town. $3,000 in cash in 2025. $3,000 in the year of our Lord Apple Pay. If I had been the cop that she reported to, that the business, and she told me, listen in the back, oh, my DHS badge, my passport, my driver's license, so much stuff was in there. I had a couple of Jolly Ranchers, and oh yeah, $3,000 in cash. I'd be like, do you rap or something? Like, why do you have that much cash on you? No, she had $3,000 in cash. But the kicker for me was she had a bunch of blank checks. I don't even have to, You still write checks. In 2025, you just got that blank check on you just in case something pop off, and $3,000 in cash isn't enough. This is the most prepared to be mugged individual I've ever seen in my entire life. That is insane. You already got $3,000 in cash. Imagine you pull up on Christie Noem, you're like, give me everything. And then she's like, here, you about to walk away. And then for whatever reason, you don't know why, you just feel led for one moment. You look over your shoulder back at her, and she got a pen. You said give you everything, blank checks. I don't even know if the thief would know what to do. Like, there used to be whole departments dedicated to check fraud. And now it's like 2 dudes. People are not writing checks like that anymore. I bet you they dump the contents out. They're like, oh, we score. We got $3,000 in cash. We got her DHS badge. I'm sure she's going to want that back. We got her passport, her driver's license. Oh, we got everything. Why she got a bunch of little papers with her name on it? Some people so conceited. No, because I had an incident happen to me when I was in college, where I left for the break, and when I got back, the RA, resident assistant, comes up to me as soon as I get back on campus, and she's like, hey, I'm going to walk with you to your room. Now, you could get in trouble at the school I was in. It was a dry campus. You could get in trouble for like having alcohol in your room, or like if they found anything. Sometimes if there was even a whisper of something in your room, they'd at least want to check it out. And so I didn't know if maybe somebody had said something. I lived in my own room. I had my own like dorm room by myself. And so I was like, I know nothing should be in there that I don't know about, unless maybe I left it unlocked. Somebody put something in there. I don't know. So I'm kind of freaking out on the walk to get to my room. And then I go ahead, I open the door. And before I open the door, she's like, okay, don't freak out. And I was like, that's not how you start. It's the least helpful way. She's like, don't freak out. While people were gone on campus, there were a series of break-ins, and your room was one of the ones that was broken into. Right? Now, this isn't like me being like poor me, but everything I had is everything I had. Right? So I like the stuff that I left there, I have one of everything. Right? And same for the stuff at home. And so I'm opening the door thinking like, oh my gosh. Like, I don't have money to replace things that might be missing or broken, you know. So I open the door, and my room is trashed. It's like fully ransacked and everything. And then she's like, you just make a list, okay? Make a list of everything that's missing, and we'll figure out if like the like Department of Public Safety on campus and the school at large can like help you recover some of it, or you know, maybe, who knows, maybe the school can like come up with the funds to help you get the stuff that was missing. And so I look around, and I'm moving clothes out of the way and all this stuff. I opened my closet. They were in my closet too and everything. And it takes a little while, but quietly I realized to myself that they didn't take anything. This. Do you know how embarrassing it is to get your place broken into? And a thief is like, I'm good. What do you do? What do you do? You know, I'm in my head, quietly walking around. You know, RA is still standing in the doorway and everything. I'm getting defensive in my head. I'm like, all right, I got a couple of good DVDs, all right? They not Fight Club fans? Like, no, I got a PS1. I know the PS3 is out, but I had a 1. They could pawn that. You know, they don't even have imagination. So finally the RA is like, so, anything? And I was like, Yeah, they took my Gucci watch. I had 2 Chanel bracelets. You gotta put the bracelets down. Please write the bracelets down, okay? And I had about $3,000 in cash. You know? It's difficult when people are feeling like they're squeezed so much financially. Like there are things that you have to pay. But the thing, I guess, that gets me sometimes when it comes to paying tax, I feel like some of the reluctance around it is that it feels like you work all year and then you get taxed for this money that's going to be spent on a bunch of things that you didn't agree to, it less like you worked all year and it's to pay for the things that we already enjoyed. Does that make sense? Like the framing of it, I think, is why people have such a problem. You know, like if you just sent back the tax return and then listed the stuff. Yeah, I mean, we might be like, oh, I didn't know that I kept the bridge open. That's good. That's pretty good. I use that bridge every day. I'm glad it's not in shambles. That's fantastic news. You have to pay your taxes not just because the government is telling you to. It's not the government being some big bad meanie or something. It's you live here. And you use the road, so maybe chip in so that it doesn't fall all the way apart, you know? And like that's not to say, really quick, that's not to say that I just pay my taxes blindly and love it and never question where it's going, because it is your money as well, so you deserve to have some say in where it goes. That's why we elect people to Congress. You know, it's why we pick the officials that we pick, even on a local level, because we're like, you work for me. You are my employee, and here are the things that I want to see. These are things that I don't want to see. It feels like in this moment, we're in a real predicament of, I guess the best way I can describe it is I used to work at a store, and when I worked there, they promoted this one guy that was like, one of us, one of the cashiers. They promoted him, and they really shouldn't have done it. They clearly weren't paying attention. Like I was barely a good employee, and he was worse than me by far. And they promoted him. I was like, that blows my mind. And I wasn't jealous. It wasn't like I wanted a promotion. I felt like my duties to my level of commitment were right on par. Like I was like, let me stack the grapes. Let me stock the shelves. Don't ask me to do more, and I promise not to do less. Okay. But he was actively bad, and they promoted him. And a good example was he wanted to go to business school, and one of the assistant managers said, "Oh, I used to, go to business school. Like I graduated from business school. I tell you what, I will give you all my old business school books. I don't know how much of it will transfer, how much it will actually help you, but it can get you started before you actually start school. You might be able to learn some of the basic concepts. It'll help you, right?" And that was a very nice thing to do. He didn't need to do that. I respected that very, very much. He saw somebody with a dream. He wanted to help them along, And so he gave him these books. And I'm not even kidding. The next day, this dude comes to work and accidentally knocks over about a pallet's worth of wine because he was walking while reading the book. The book, I'm not even kidding, was called How to Understand Business. And this is who you promoted. We're in the business of selling groceries. We buy groceries from places, we hold them until people want to buy them from us, and then we sell them to them. We're in the business of buying and selling groceries. He will stand in direct conflict with our ability to buy and sell groceries. And you've promoted him. We're in a similar predicament now. as a country, we're in a similar situation because Pete Hegseth got in trouble again for the same thing from before. Basically, if you're not familiar, a bunch of people who are supposed to were using the app Signal to, talk about war plans. And, quick gist, they accidentally invited a journalist, and then the mission kicks off. They do the attack. The attack is successful, and everyone finds out, and they're like, that was dumb. Don't do that again. And everybody was like, we can't promise that. Like, that's not... Okay. Well, fast forward to rewind, we are in the same situation again because unbeknownst to, I guess, anybody at the time, Pete Hegseth had not only been using Signal to discuss war plans, he had a whole other channel where he was just talking to his wife, his brother, and his personal attorney. And you couldn't. This is what genuinely bothers me. Like this is what actually upsets me about the whole thing. Some people are upset. They're like, I can't believe they were discussing such sensitive information that should have been, they can say it's not top secret. They can say it's not classified, but it's at least something that we should hold tight until the mission happens. And he's just discussing it plainly on this app that could be hacked. And it's like those things. Discussing it with people who shouldn't know isn't actually my problem. Maybe this is my own hot take, but I feel like that sort of thing happens all the time. I think anyone who's like married to someone in government, anyone who's married to someone high up in any business knows some things that they're not supposed to know. That's like human, actually. You don't think Michelle Obama? You don't think Michelle Obama was kept up at night knowing stuff she wasn't supposed to know? Do you hear me? You think Michelle Obama was in the White House like, Barack, what's wrong? And then Barack was like, it's classified. No. I don't think that happened. I'm sure Michelle was in the White House minding her own business, eating a veggie plate. Barack halfway kicks open the door. I've had it up to here with them. Okay? They want to kill everybody. They want to blow the world up. Now you sitting there, you Michelle, you like, oh, I don't even want my carrots anymore. Oh, no. The thing that bothers me is that Pete just couldn't be professional, and wait for an hour till he got home to tell her in person. Like, just do it the way people normally do it. Walk in the door, be like, you won't believe. Like, that's the way you do it. But when I pay my taxes, I do get upset when I see it blatantly being misused. Like when Pete Hegseth is supposedly building a $40,000 studio in the Pentagon to do his makeup before he goes on TV. I'm like, that, if even $1 of that is mine, I'm very upset. Like, I'm not saying I'm the whole 40, but like, that's so insane. Secretary in the makeup room. Should he be at war? Like, every once in a while, you come into contact with somebody that from You know, in a personal way, and eventually, maybe this has happened to some of you, you turn on local news and you see them. And you're like, I knew it was going to be something. You know what I mean? Maybe it's the 8 o'clock, the 10 o'clock news, but they did something. You see that mugshot and everything. When I was in Chicago, I worked with this dude at our job, in the break room, we had a light sensor for the light switch. So you could just press it, lights come on, or, you know, if nobody was in there or if you didn't move for long enough, lights go off, right? And one day, I'm walking into the break room, take my break, lights are off, I walk in, lights come on, and he's sitting there, already in the break room, eating barbecue. And let me go out on a limb right now and say that if you eat barbecue in the dark, you are a murderer, okay? You're already guilty in my mind. If you are that comfortable with bones in the dark, there's no telling what else you're capable of. If you are that comfortable slipping and sliding on your teeth and tongue, barbecue is messy enough in the light. You should have seen his face when the lights came on. It was insanity. And then I walk in and he not even, if it were me, and that happened, because I try to put myself in his shoes. I try to be empathetic. I'm like, okay, let's say you eating barbecue in the break room on your break, right? Kind of a heavy meal for a 15-minute break, but to each their own, you know what I mean? You go be sleepy when you come back, but I want everybody to enjoy their life. So let's say you're eating barbecue in the break room, and you are somehow doing it so still. I'm not saying he should be hitting the rib like corn on the cob. You know what I mean? I'm not I'm not saying he should be digging into it with his face. Like, in case you're wondering, that is, at least in my mind, the sound you make when you eat barbecue in the dark, like that. If you eat barbecue in the dark, you don't eat it like the rest of us. The rest of us chew like civilized people, but if you in the dark eating barbecue, you are wilding out. You're doing whole other sounds and effects that the rest of us don't do, you know? I'm not saying that you need to be doing a bunch of extra movements when you eat your barbecue. I'm just saying if you're doing it so still, you know, munch, munch, munch. Munch, munch, munch. Munch, 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 munch. Munch, munch, yum. Munch, 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 munch. If you're doing it so subtle that a light sensor, that technology was like, ain't nobody in the room. And then they decide to shut the lights off on you, and you still did not feel led to change the conditions of your meal. If you were eating barbecue in the break room and then the lights go off and you're like, that's even better. That tells me you're not right in the head. Something is going on with your mind or your spirit. Something is evil in you. Munching away. And then you think to yourself, oh, what if someone walks in? What if someone walks in and feels like, this is awkward. This is weird. I would hate for them to judge me and my entire personality based off of one instance, you know? Maybe I should get up and paw my way, if the lights don't come on, to the light switch and press it so the lights come on and the room is once again filled with God's holy light. I even tried to extend that olive branch and be like, you know what? He probably didn't want to get barbecue sauce on the switch. You know what I mean? Maybe that's what it was. Maybe he thought if he was flinging his hands, he'd get barbecue sauce on the walls. That would look even scarier because now I walk in, the wall's red, you got a bone in your hand, you munching away. Really try to put myself in that headspace. Try to be fair to him. And after I got through thinking all those thoughts, I was like, nah, the whole thing was weird. No, I was right. It's insane. Okay. Side note. I left that job, right? And one day I was catching up with a different coworker. I was telling them what happened, right? I was like, hey, I was super weird. Like, I get in there and, you know, he'd been in the dark, so he wasn't fazed. It wasn't like something just happened and I walked in right after or whatever. And they were like, oh, you know what? I didn't want to tell anybody. But the same thing happened to me. Which means on a different day, this man was eating barbecue so gentle that he lost the light again. And this dude, okay, so look, so my coworker told me, they were like, no, okay, so when I walked in, that light, I think, was genuinely broken because I walked in and it was still dark. Like, it didn't just come on because I swung the door open, right? So we at least know now he didn't turn the lights off on himself. Because I did worry about that. I did worry that man took his break, went to the break room with his barbecue, knew what he was about to do, knew how unchristian he was about to behave, set the barbecue down on the table and was like, nobody needs to know. But yeah, so apparently there was a problem with the light in the break room, and they were like, yeah, but when I walked in, he was eating the barbecue, and I'm pretty sure he was choking. Which would make you feel bad for him for a second, until you really put yourself in that situation. Because if you walk in to a dark room, you assume nobody's in there. And the sound of someone choking on barbecue in a dark room does sound like a demon. It does sound... If you walk in and start... No, do it real quick. Close your eyes. Close your eyes real quick. I want everybody to close your eyes. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. Piece of brisket getting caught in the back of your throat, and now you sound like Beelzebub. No. And so then when the light when the light from the door spilled in, they saw him and they couldn't really make him out because they were kind of blocking the light themselves, just standing in the doorway. And they said that they just saw him like eating in the corner, which, why are you facing the wall? I forgot to mention that. That happened to me too. He was facing the wall. It's already dark. You don't need to worry about being seen. But he's facing the wall going... I was like, what did you do? What did you do when that happened? And they were like, thought it was a demon. I yelled out loud, I rebuke you. And then I closed the door. Oh, man. So then, I'm chilling in my apartment in Chicago and watching the news. And I see a mugshot with a familiar face who had been arrested for trying to rob a barbecue restaurant. It's especially tough right now because I think people are getting squeezed from more angles than we thought was possible, right? It's like, wages aren't increasing, jobs are hard to come by because of layoffs. Some of the layoffs are like the seasonal layoffs when, companies restructure and everything, things that we're actually used to. But then some of them are people losing their jobs in government. Some people are losing their jobs in the private sector in place of potential like AI advancements and stuff, all while you have the tariffs going on. And I truly believe that some of it is preventable. Obviously, there's going to be ebbs and flows with every economy. There's going to be ebbs and flows with every country throughout its history of how rich it is or how markets fluctuate. Some of these are unforced errors and some of these are things that just happen, but it's all happening at one time, And I think very basically, I wish everyone could agree on it, but we're not there yet, that just by being human, just by virtue of being alive, you deserve access to basic necessities, the most basic of things, right? And especially if you're working. If you are working full time and you're still struggling to get the basic, we're talking about food, water, and shelter. We're talking about the most basic things. And I think sometimes when you bring up the people who are having a rough time, they're having a rougher go of it than is just, right? Life isn't fair, but you build the scale so that things can level out, so that they can be just. And when you talk about people who are having a rough time, who need extra help to try to get level, and they're working, they're doing their best. I think people conflate that with people who want luxuries or they want something for free. These people are already working. We are the hardest working country in the world. We clock more hours than anybody else, and we every year have less and less to show for it. We have less to show in healthcare. We have less to show in education and possibility of upward mobility. Every year we work harder, and every year we have less. We take less vacation days than pretty much anyone in the world, and for all of our hard work, we are not seeing the fruits of our labor. And there are people who will tell you, oh, but if you just work a little bit harder, if you just do it this way, oh, I'm smart, I figured it out, you will too. It's people who are not addressing the fact that everyone does not get a fair shake. Like, you only need to look at me as an example. You don't think I want to be in the NBA? I did everything that I was supposed to do. I ate my greens. All right, I shot the ball. I did the running. I did everything. But trust me, if I show up to an open tryout and shoot my shot for whatever team will have me, they will be calling security. All right. And finances work in a similar way. I'm not coming down on anybody who came up well, went to a good school, and then through that good school, you made a connection, which got you your job, which affords you your lifestyle. I'm not saying you don't work hard. I'm saying everyone doesn't have that same opportunity, And I think that at the very basis, right, at the very basis of food, water, and shelter, people get it in their head that even shelter means, a lavish house or something. Lavish. I'm not talking about lavish things. I'm talking about enough to get by. Everyone is fighting to get by. When you talk to people who don't have about what they want, they just want to be level. You know, they're not asking for expensive, lavish things like outdoor furniture. Patio furniture is ridiculously expensive. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It's literally outside. You don't even want it in your home. It's almost trash. I don't care how comfortable it is. You literally let it get rained on. You know, you buy it from a store and then you bring it inside for a second just to take it out to the backyard and leave it there. And it's too expensive. It's crazy. In fact, when the outdoor furniture is inside, that's when you know it's bad. When I was living with some friends in college, their lawn chairs were the chairs. And I was like, we in a bad situation. We're not doing well. You got the patio furniture in front of the TV. We about to die tomorrow. Whew. Yeah. You know? It's bad. It's bad. And it shouldn't be this bad, you know? You work, you pay your taxes, those things should come back to benefit you. And it's still that there's a narrative that's going on that's got all of us really going after and arguing with each other. As if there's limited resources, as if there's limited money, as if there's limited opportunity, and we know there's not. We know that there's actually plenty to go around. Even with the hundreds of millions of us that are in this country, there's plenty to go around because we know how much billionaires have. Because they make it known how much they have, you know? Like you see how much land they own and you're like, that is a lot of people could live there. That's crazy. Or you know that CEO that said he wanted to own all the water? It's like, that's something you keep to yourself. What a sociopathic thing to say. Oh, I want all the water. You can't even drink it. What's wrong with you? That's what kills me. It's like people think that it's solely government. People think that it's their job. They think it's not. I promise it's not. And what really burdens me, what keeps me up at night is that these people are siphoning all this money. They siphon it from the government. They get benefits from the government. They get tax cuts from the government. They siphon all this money. They siphon your wealth from you. They siphon it in wages by the fact that they don't increase. They siphon it off of like shrinkflation when they act like they cry poor and then they charge you more for less. They siphon all this money, all to what end? To have a few people have all that money. All of that money, more money than anyone will ever need in their lifetime. And you know it because they don't spend it. They siphon all of this money out. They are literally parasitic. And then they dress like me. That's so crazy. You have all the money in the world and you look like me. What are you doing? That's so crazy. Oh, it doesn't have to be this way. And I know sometimes you can feel powerless, especially when the big thing is happening, when the big thing is just going, you know. But with a movement towards any action that is based in the people's wishes, it has to come to fruition in any instance. And you see it all over the world. You see people rise up in whatever form it takes to make their voices heard. And it's still very much possible. I know that there's a narrative out there that you're like a cog, that there's nothing you can do, and that you might as well just scrounge up as many pennies as you can to get by, and that'll be the best you can ask out of life. You know, it's to the point now where even people who cross over that $1 million threshold, they enter that tax bracket, they still feel that way. You could make $500,000. You could have $300,000 saved up, and you might sell something within your company, make another $200,000. You might cross that $1 million threshold, even by just a little bit, and still be like, I'm barely getting by. And people roll their eyes at that. They scoff at that. But the way that things are set up, unless you are uber rich, it's very easy to drop right out of that tax bracket. None of that is certain. You know, small business owners, some of them could be considered millionaires, but they'll tell you, they're like, my actual business and the people that I care for, the employees that I employ that depend on me for their benefits, for their livelihood. It's like we are month to month, right? So this structure doesn't end at just taking care of yourself. And it's why everybody, to the best of our ability, we have to be looking at the whole. The way that they play it is the way that benefits them every single time. Someone who's already a billionaire would love for you to just try to be like me. You can do it if you work hard enough. That's the narrative out there. They don't talk about how many government benefits they get, how many tax cuts they get, that they were born rich. They don't let any of that into the story because it would kind of ruin the whole thing. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's literally, it's up to you, because we're already there. We're already in a place where I don't see how things are just going to get better by themselves. People are putting burritos on layaway. That's insane. That's so crazy. There are apps now that they come to you and they're like, hey, we'll let you finance your lunch, dog. You know, pay $3 now, we got you. And they do. They have you. And they don't let go. And before you know it, it's been a month, and that burrito that was $12 when you didn't have it is $65 now when you're done paying for it. And it wasn't worth it. And it's siphoned more from you. The things that weren't already taken. They can take your wealth. They're taking it now. They cannot take your worth. If you know your worth, if you remember your worth, and you fight for it every day, and you fight for it with who you vote for, you go to your town halls and you speak to them and you let them know, we hired you. You work for us. We pay our taxes. Go tell them that this is done. It doesn't have to be this way. We can demand more. And the thing that we're demanding is not some sort of handout. We're demanding our work back to us in proportion for how hard we've worked. These people believe, they genuinely believe that they built this company up by themselves, as if there's some idea truly as a self-made man. It's like, even if you built a company and you ship the things to the people and they love your product and they want more of it, and you think you're such a genius, there are people driving that truck. There are people packing up those packages. And then there's the road that you didn't build. You know? In what world should it be like this? That's crazy. And then the narrative gets put back on us that we deserve these pennies, that we deserve such a small share of the thing that we helped build. Look around. Really look around when you walk around your city. Really look around when you travel. Wherever you go in America, no matter who you are, we built this. We built this together. We built it. And I'm not even saying that these like titans of industry don't hold a part in it. I'm not discounting someone having an idea and through ingenuity bring it to fruition to the point where they employ people, to the point where people depend on them. But there are responsibilities that come with that sort of thing. You know, I wanted to start a candy company, and I was like, nah, I'm actually going to be a terrible boss. I'd be a terrible boss. You know, I'd be in there in the candy factory eating all the chocolate, making myself sick. And then when people come to the factory to look at our chocolate, they'd be like, the boss is in the bathroom throwing up again because he's a child that can't stop himself. And that's why I didn't start a business, because I was like, you know, there are other people that are better at it. It's tough. You know, you shouldn't be put in a position where you got to put barbecue that you eat in the dark on layaway. Like that's
Welcome to the Josh Johnson Show. I'm Josh Johnson, joined by my co-host, fellow stand-up comedian Logan Nielsen. Logan, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing okay, man. How are you?
I'm fine. You know, it's like it's a pretty okay couple of weeks and stuff. Like I really can't complain. I'm finding though that I like living in New York. Mm-hmm. Not always in love with it, but I think that I understand old New Yorkers now, because the things that I've seen since I've been here, it's like at a certain point it does become too much, where you're not even like enjoying that there's a story there. You're genuinely like, no one should see this much, you know?
Yeah. No, I know what you mean by that. I definitely know what you mean by that.
Because I like to take walks. I like to just go and take a long walk and think, or try to get out of my head, or, you know, just a long walk. And I remember one time I walked from, I don't remember where I was in the city, but I walked to Brooklyn. Like I walked home, you know? Yeah. Which took hours. Like this was like a 3-4 hour walk that I was on. Mm-hmm. And some of it I was listening to a podcast. Some of it I wasn't. Some of it I was just like taking the day in and stuff, you know. It's a nice enough day. And I don't know, at a certain point you get to a place where it's good to be present, but sometimes you don't want to be present where you are. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you're like, man, sure, it's good that I'm like in the moment, but this isn't a good moment.
That was like a vaguely nihilist Hallmark card you just had there. It's always good to be present, but sometimes you don't want to be present where you are.
Look, if you are okay, the best example.
No, I get exactly what you mean. It's just I would like that. I think we should start making cards that are just very neutral like that.
Hey, it was
because it's not even pessimistic. It's not even bad, really. It's just kind of like,
It's just there are some times where you only want to be so aware, because awareness is like anything. It's like, I even think, you know, this goes against any Zen teaching, but I think even awareness should be in moderation. Like I don't think that it's healthy to just be locked in all the time. And I realize your life is, you know, you only get one and you only have the time that you have. And we don't know how much we have. But to be fully locked in, especially if you're not in a good place that day, you know? Yeah,
it's real easy to just then to go like, what's the point of any of it just because you're having a shitty day? I do that all the time. Are you kidding me?
But like,
I will go from having an amazing day and being like, you know what, I'm really lucky to have the life I have. And the next day then I'll just be, and it's not even like a depression thing, but it's just like nothing matters. Why do I care about anything?
I went on this walk, and I at one point I sat down. I think I may have been at Meatball Shop, but I wanted to just get something to eat and something I know I would like. Like I was not feeling adventurous this day. I think I may have even been in a bad mood. Like I think easily I could have been in a bad mood. Anyway, I'm sitting outside
taking the day in. And this is, I don't even like eating outside. You know I hate it. I hate eating outside so much. You are a slave. You are at the mercy of the elements. And the people that love this is just, it's too much for me. The fact that when you
it's like camping, you know?
Yeah.
That's why people like it.
Oh, God. Anyone who loves eating outside has not had enough stuff happen outside. Like legitimately, you're at the mercy of whatever passes by, whether that be dirty wind or like, you know, a car really fling some sludge onto the sidewalk. You're on the
Bears.
sidewalk. There's no dining out in New York. There's only a couple of beer gardens in the entirety of New York. So if you're eating outside, you're eating on the sidewalk.
You're on the street. You're at the mercy of the streets of New York.
This place was busy, so I had to eat outside. And for whatever reason, that day it was nice enough I didn't mind it. And I'm like being present. I'm locked into the fact that like the sunlight is hitting everything in a really beautiful way. There's like a brisk breeze, but it's not consistent and it's not chilly, and it's just enough, like the temperature is just enough that you don't even feel like you're outside. You know, that perfect temp that's like it almost like it I know it's not, because we would be boiling, but it feels like it matches your body temperature, because you just, even though you're outside, you feel like there's no weather because it's just such a comfortable temperature. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know, but I've rarely been comfortable outside. I'm a large, sweaty man. I don't know.
I feel like we talked about this one time while we were walking, maybe when we were doing the Colorado shows, and it was so nice out that we were like, oh, it feels.
I think that's because that's an air quality we're not used to. You know, higher elevation, stuff like that. So it felt perfect. You get less of that, I don't know, heavy air.
That could be it. Like, my thing is basically, I said all this to say, I was taking in the moment. It was a beautiful moment, and it was broken by a couple that, like, sadly wasn't breaking up. This just seemed to be one of their fights that they were having. And they're at the table behind me, and it's just, you can tell they've been whispering for a while, and now they're too pissed to whisper. And so it's just him being like, who even are you? Who even are you?
Yes.
And I'm like,
yes.
Not today.
Were they at one of the other tables?
Yeah.
Or were they just happened to be?
They were at the table behind
That's
me.
even better. That's even better.
So they're outside, and the worst part is that the entire inside is packed, but the outside is just me and them.
Oh, okay. So you're a third wheel to this
entire
argument.
restaurant is too packed for me to even sit at the bar.
Right.
But then outside is empty. It's just me and them.
Yeah.
And it's like it was it's just too much. You know, like that, because they're not even having like a nasty fight. Their fight is barely interesting, right? At one point, the guy he says something to her, and now they're talking at the level that I'm talking right now. So not loud, but just talking, just not whispering anymore. They're both too angry, to like, you know, worry about company, and.
Their guest, Josh.
And basically, out of nowhere, she's like, I don't even want to talk about this right now. You're embarrassing me. And he's like, in front of who?
Ouch. Burn. That's a dig at you.
Well, he doesn't see me. He's like back to back with me. He's like, in front of who? We're outside. All right. Am I embarrassing you in front of New York?
Yeah.
And
she goes, you're embarrassing me in front of podcast and television's Josh Johnson. What a great way to meet a fan. That'd be the best.
It was horrible. And then they managed to eat. So I guess they must have got there like 5 minutes before I got there, because they stopped fighting in time enough to order, then start fighting again. Then they stopped fighting for the little while that they were eating, and then started fighting again until the bill came. And it was like
That's too calm. That's too calm while having a fight. If you're fighting before you even order. Yeah.
That's the thing. They ate fast so they could argue more. They actually didn't enjoy their food so that they could be like, and another thing. Like, that is so wild to me. It was horrible.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm honest, though, I would have loved that. But we've talked before. I enjoy couple fights on the streets. So
yeah, you would have loved this one. Just
that's dinner and a show.
Slinging spaghetti out of your mouth on a sidewalk in the afternoon too. Like, that was my other thing where I was like,
it happened today?
No. This is a while back.
Okay, but I was just wondering, was it a weekday? Because today's a weekday.
No, it was a weekday. Yeah.
Wow. So afternoon.
In my head, this is when I was on hiatus. So then in my head, I'm like, okay, y'all are either like me, where you're on some sort of vacation and one of you has ruined it, or neither one of y'all has a job anyway. So like, I don't know why. Because here's the thing: if you're out like that, if you're out in the world like that at 3:30, I'm not gonna presume to know what's going on with everybody's life, but if you can be out in the sun having spaghetti at 3:30 on a Tuesday, you got a good life. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. So what are you fighting about? You know,
what are y'all fighting about?
What are you fighting about?
Because y'all weren't
clearly
fighting
got
about
it
the
made.
bill.
You got afternoon weekday spaghetti. What can you be mad about?
I'm just saying. Think about how many people like are either have to worry about something or have to be at work at 3:30.
Oh, for sure.
So then the fact that I'm here, y'all are here, everyone else is here, by the way. I did not expect that place to be packed on a weekday for like it must have been an entire corporate office's lunch.
Oh yeah.
Late lunch.
Yeah, closed for private party.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. 3:30 is a strange time too.
Dude, so first of all, I walk in, I almost think it's an actual private party, like someone's birthday, because I've never seen the place that packed even at night. So then I walk in and I'm like, something's happening. Like, are they shooting a movie here? This is crazy, right? And then they're like, oh, we have seating outside. I'm like, oh, God.
You hate eating outside so much. And generally, I don't love it either. It has to be the right type of weather for me to want to eat outside.
Have you eaten outside New York?
Yeah.
Oof. It's the worst here. I don't even know if I care about eating outside other places.
Why do you think it's the worst there? What is it that really...
Bro, there's no think. I was farted on.
See? This is what I'm trying to get to. I'm getting to the goods.
This dude.
When did you get farted on while eating outside in New York?
I went to a restaurant with Sally, and I think it was Mediterranean or something. Went to this restaurant with Sally, and it was good. We were enjoying ourselves. And then this guy passed by and is like playing on his phone or something and just fully lets loose. And you can tell. I still debate whether or not it was on purpose. Like maybe this dude was being a jerk, who knows? But he farted really loud and really hard right as he passed me. And then I had a moment of like, and then whether he heard me go, or whatever, he just like bolted around the corner. And I was just like, so he definitely did fart. And it wasn't even like he farted and then laughed or whatever. I think this person was genuinely embarrassed.
Yeah, something happened to him there. He wasn't expecting that.
Yeah. And like, honestly, we're outside, so it's not even like I smelled anything. But I just realized as I was out there that if this did happen inside, I'm not saying it can't, but if it did happen inside, there'd be a discussion. You know what I mean? You're not getting away from me that fast inside.
Oh, you can't. Yeah, you can't sprint away.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're saying there'd be some slight decorum, perhaps, if it happened inside.
I would at least catch up to you and ask you if you have
Hey, did you
ruined your pants. Because it didn't sound like a healthy fart.
Oh, see, so this is more coming of concern for them. You're more concerned about this person and their well-being.
I guess. I mean, I wasn't that mad.
I guess.
But I would like to know. It's like, hey, are you gonna live? Like there's some noises that come out of a person where you're like, no, you're sick.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
No.
yeah, especially I don't know. That's why is it worse that it's someone not at the restaurant with you? It's just a passerby.
It's just a passerby because they could be living a dusty life. They could be living like a genuinely unhealthy
Right,
life
but-
where they shoot out hot dog farts at you as you're just trying to enjoy your grape leaves.
Okay. So you've been farted on. Gotta say, that's a first great reason. It's a first great reason to hate dining outside New York. Is there any other reason? Because you keep talking about the elements. Has anything happened to you elements wise?
This did not happen to me because I was inside.
Okay.
But I saw outside that a bike messenger, at least he looked like a bike. He could have been seamless, but a bike messenger completely totaled a table. So he was not looking. And like this dude, okay, this, I don't know. I don't even know if I should be laughing about this because everybody seemed genuinely hurt. But he basically, this guy was coming out of nowhere. And in New York, there are bike lanes, but there aren't enough bike lanes. And the bike lanes aren't everywhere. So sometimes.
Yeah, they're not consistent. They're not consistent.
Yeah. So sometimes someone, especially if you have a certain route, as a cyclist, you get on the sidewalk. This person clearly was turning from a street with a bike lane to a street without one, and was not looking ahead, was probably looking sideways or maybe looking for the bike lane or whatever where it was going to continue. Because
Behind them, they're being chased.
to be fair, there was a van. Like this is what ended up happening. There was a bike lane, right? This person was in the bike lane. At the turn, like at the intersection, there's a parked van that they would have either had to turn more into the road to pass or mount the sidewalk to pass. Okay.
Gotcha. Yeah.
When they mounted the sidewalk, whether they were looking at the van or whether they were looking to see if the bike lane was there, they mounted the sidewalk and then just completely ate up this couple that was sitting at a table outside.
Damn.
Like it was really bad.
That's like a
like the
that's
person,
like a movie stunt.
yeah, like the person on the bike went flying first, right?
Oh, no.
So the person on the bike went flying. Then the person that they sort of flew over just slid more onto the table. Then the person that they flew into fell back with them. And so the person that they flew over that's like pushed into the table just falls sideways. So then all the food falls on that person. But it was one of those things that when you see it, you immediately think that the cyclist is in the wrong, but then you see the van and you're like, all right, well, I don't think that should be there because no one was in it.
Oh,
Someone just parked their van, like, kind of in the intersection almost.
But yeah, like,
just imagine you're at a restaurant and the table explodes.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, yes, it sounds bad. It sounds like everyone got hurt, but golly, I bet that'd be great to see.
Look.
Oh man, that'd be so awesome to see. Sounds really bad. I hope everyone was okay.
Can you imagine? Okay, this is what it looked like. Do you remember the Spider-Man movie from 2001? Maybe the one with Tobey Maguire, the first,
the original Spider-Man.
Okay.
Yeah,
the original Spider-Man. Remember, I think it's in the first one or it may be the second one, where Mary Jane's talking, his spidey sense tingles, and then he grabs her, and because Doc Ock, it must be a second one, because Doc Ock throws the car into the coffee shop.
Yeah.
Okay, imagine that, but if nobody moved. because the cyclist came crashing into them. And there was no superhero sequence where they dodged anything. Every plate hit them, the cutlery hit them, every knee was scraped. Like it just everyone flew too much. Everyone, because the cyclist flew so much that I was like, let's make sure he's moving. You know what I mean?
Was this a scene for something? Was this a stunt chase that happened here?
Yeah. And then the person who got hit from the back, they fell like Family Guy style because they also had
like a bent knee and
okay. So not only
they always have that arm hanging like behind them or whatever.
Yeah. So for the people just listening, just imagine a person is on the ground and a table is sideways, but the tablecloth is on them, like tucking them in. The tablecloth has fallen on them with the plates. And they're not moving right away. Everybody is as hurt as they are surprised. Dude, this was like genuinely, I thought I had seen
A death? You thought?
Yeah. I thought I had genuinely seen someone like messed up for real.
We're always flirting with it.
Yeah.
The Josh Johnson show, flirting with the afterlife. That's what we are.
Because the way that everyone fell had to be like the sloppiest way you could fall. Because also these weren't like young people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like these weren't.
I do know what you're saying, and that's the last detail that I didn't want.
Dude, that like these people look like they only got two of those hits in them.
Even the cyclist was an elderly man.
He wasn't that old, but he was like old enough that you don't want him to fall off his bike at all, right? he didn't look like Biden on a bike, but he looked close, you know?
Yeah.
And so then the fact that the force that everyone got hit with and the fact that everybody flew, you know what it did to me though, why it was so scary for me is actually because of a misconception that I had. So growing up,
bikes were made of knives.
What?
I said that bikes were made of knives.
No.
It's a misconception you had. Jokes.
I've watched a lot of Law and Order SVU, right? And in one episode of Law and Order SVU, the way that they start the episode is this bike messenger who has been hired by a disgruntled parent who didn't get custody to kidnap his kid back, right? Tries to do that at the beginning of the episode. So the beginning of the episode is them in a park with a grandma and a kid, and then a guy grabs the kid and is trying to like run and get away, puts the kid on his bike. The kid's like, grandma. He's pedaling on the bike and he's got some speed and then just crashes into the grandma hard, right? Now, later on in that episode, they kill the grandma, okay? So later on in the episode, they're like, oh, Nana didn't make it, right? So then I was like, man, can a person be on a bike fast enough to kill you, you know? And so when I saw that, even though I know that they'd have to be going Usain Bolt kicking levels fast to kill you, I still had a flashback of when I was younger and that bike messenger hit that old woman and she died in the episode. So when I saw the like table explode, because also like food is hitting the window. Right. So like there's little like dips that have hit the window and you're not sure what's sauce and what's blood, you know? Because you're like, did these people just explode? Because I can't see everyone.
I just love that you had like, you had a flashback to a TV show.
Yeah.
Because
dude, I thought these people could die. I thought that
you have PTSD about SUV. Huh? Don't get mad.
But you said the vehicle.
Oh, I did say the vehicle.
Yeah,
We'll go again. PTSD from SVU. I think it's because SUV sounded better rhyme.
It does rhyme, yeah.
I think that's why my brain did it.
That's why I almost didn't say anything.
Yeah. PTSDVU.
Jeez. But yeah, no, they like
Miami.
they got that was like hard to
That
watch.
sounds-
And in my head, I was like, man, this is why one of the other reasons why dying out. And I've actually, I don't know who I've told this story to. I think this is the first time I'm telling that story, and it's to you, because I don't think I've ever told
Wow.
Sally about that.
You were really traumatized by that episode of Law and Order.
Dude, okay, so this is the thing that happened in my head in the restaurant.
Yeah.
Because once again, I don't really care about eating alone. Like I'll go have a meal by myself and just chill.
Right.
Especially if I heard the place is good, or if it's right there and it looks, like reasonable prices, anything.
And you're going to
so-
hold a server hostage with conversation anyway, so.
Yeah. So I'm sitting at the bar when this happened, right?
Okay, so you were in the restaurant that it happened out in front of.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah.
That's even better.
And so I'm
That's
like
the
eating
It's like the
tacos.
people It's like the people who are inside in Ghostbusters when Lewis gets attacked by the dog.
Dude,
The table explodes and everyone calmly goes back to eating.
I'm like, and a couple people, this was so funny to me, right? This is when I knew I was in a different place, because this is early when I lived in New York. So I was like, I think I was in Queens, right? And
Oh, okay.
And so then the whole thing happens, and just like bodies flying and everything, and then like everybody hit the ground, right? And there was only 2 tables outside, because this is pre-pandemic. So this is just like, hey, we have these 2 tables. I mean, yeah, these 2 tables and these 4 chairs in front of the restaurant. Everything else is in the restaurant, and the restaurant's too small. It's like a little storefront restaurant, right?
Yeah, so they don't have a big patio anyway, just a couple seats out front.
Yeah. Couple seats way too close to the sidewalk. And and basically I'm sitting there and I'm like, man, if I had eaten outside, that would have either happened to me or I would have got a closer view of it, which would have been horrible, Yeah. Because like the distance,
No
that
matter
I
what,
saw
you're
it
a part
from-
of it.
Yeah, the distance that I saw it from made it very funny. Like I'm not gonna lie. Whether
No,
they were hurt
that'd
or
be
not,
great.
the distance I was away, because also everything was muffled because I couldn't really hear. So then by it being muffled through the glass, all I heard was crashing, like the crashing of glass and stuff like that. But then a little bit of like, oh. Because my man that was on the bike caught some air. Okay, like he didn't
damn.
he didn't fly forever, but like okay, I'm trying to describe the trajectory the best, because
Right.
there are some people listening, some people watching. So the guy is like hitting the first person. But when he's hitting the first person, the bike is most of what's hitting the first person. So the
Right.
bike is what's really driving that person into the table and knocking them sideways. When he launches off the bike, it's into the person who was sitting across from them, but it doesn't fully stop there. So he hits the person.
So he
that's
launches
sitting there
into a spear move.
into like kind of a spear. I'm surprised the second person didn't explode, because he launches into a spear, which knocks them back and over. But then he keeps flying a little bit.
Oh, so the second person ostensibly is a ramp.
Yeah, because the
He
second
goes
person,
off of.
the second person caught it, and that's what knocked them down.
Right.
And then he lands like maybe a foot away from where they landed.
Ugh.
So he flew very well. Like if he was
everyone sounds hurt.
instead of if he was not trying to deliver something and he was trying to fly, mission accomplished, because my man flew. Like when you looked from the window, because I did get up and go to the window. When you looked at the window, where the bike was to where he landed was like at least 3 bikes. Like he flew 3 bikes deep. I'm pretty sure my measurements are just wrong, so I'm just going by bikes. Because everything got pushed at least a bike away from where it was, right?
So that's what I tell my math students to do. If you get confused, just measure in bikes.
Yeah, just measuring bikes,
Yeah.
People understand the ballpark of where you are. By the way, ballpark 664 bikes. Okay.
It's actually a big ass ballpark, probably, in bikes.
Yeah, but that's if you lay them down.
They would still be the same length. Just because you.
No, you lay them down. It's different. Yeah.
It's still the same length.
Everybody knows that bikes are longer when they're sideways. Don't embarrass me in front of these people.
Tip that bike
It's
over.
the same.
Shorter.
You sound dumb right now, okay? It's the same length, whether it's right side up or it's sideways. Tell that to the bike. Tell that to the bike that got crashed, because that bike was much shorter by the time that dude landed.
That's not because it was sideways. That's because it rammed into a customer. Very hard from the sounds of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Customers.
You've never told me that story. That is,
Yeah.
because that's a brutal thing to see.
It was really bad, and in my head, even when it happened in my head, I was like, even if this cyclist had tried on purpose to do this to the restaurant, he would have barely made it through the glass. But the fact that they were just
You
open,
just hit it and just all the way down.
yeah, the fact that these people were open out there in the air, exposed, is why they got the way they did.
They were exposed to bike.
They were just out here living raw, and then got hit by a bike.
Living raw.
Yeah, you can't just no protection at all.
You gotta be ready for bike.
Yeah,
You have to be ready for bike.
100%.
You never know. So at least put one of those big padded like bear suits on or something, because you gotta protect yourself from bike.
Or at least a helmet. That's irresponsible. You getting slammed into the table.
That's what some restaurants will start doing that to be like, hey, to cut down on liability, we ask that anyone eating on the patio wear a helmet.
Also, I really wanted to know.
They spray them out like bowling shoes and just give them, there you go, there's your helmet.
I've thought about this for so long. I wonder what they were talking about before the cyclist hit.